Hello, I am Jordan Alexis Leonard, and I'm currently in my last semester of coursework with Marshall University, where I will tentatively graduate in May 2020 with my master's degree in education with an emphasis in library media specialist. I am currently a seventh grade reading teacher in Berkeley County, West Virginia. When looking at an educator who is at the top of their field as a specialist, six key common threads appear. One's knowledge of content, their understanding of the learners in their classroom and how those learners learn, how vital planning instruction and assessment are in the learning and reflective process, their integration of technology, and their pursuit of academic research and professional responsibility all combine together to make a well-rounded and high-performing educator. This master's program has been based around these six goals that have helped to shape me into an excellent candidate for my future career as a library media specialist. All six goals cover the various aspects that make an educator outstanding. The amount of personal growth that has taken place in my own teaching methodology, as well as within my library pedagogy, is truly astounding, and I am so thankful for this portfolio that has helped me to see just how far this program has taken me and has shaped my day-to-day teaching practices already. In goals 2, 3, and 4 especially, I have witnessed changes that I was able to implement immediately into my teaching practice, and my students have already began benefiting from several of those items. Within the program, my strongest program goal is goal number 2, which focuses on demonstrating the understanding of my learners and their learning. I work in a very unique and diverse school where my students are about as unique and diverse as one could possibly get. On a personal level, I have a very strong commitment to serving my special needs populations as the sister of a learner on the autism spectrum and the parent of a gifted child. But on a professional level, I strive to give the type of education and forthright planning around these types of intelligences that I would expect and hope an educator would do for both my sister and my daughter. I strive to scaffold and challenge every student within my classroom to ensure that no student is left stagnant, but is constantly being challenged and is learning and growing. The unit plan that you can see on special needs modifications as my artifact for indicators 1 and 2 exhibits exactly how passionate and proficient I am at identifying and preparing for the various needs of learners that may enter my classroom. It was a first for me, taking a unit and breaking it down like this ahead of time with all of the possible various common accommodations and modifications. But that meant that when it was time for me to teach that unit this year, I was fully prepared for any learner that would come into my classroom, and they did. As an educator, preparing like this is something that I hadn't done to such an extreme before taking this course, but it is something that I took away from the course and immediately corrected and began implementing in my daily teaching practice. It's also something that as a department chair, I have begun encouraging new teachers to begin doing as a part of their daily teaching practice as well. For indicator 3, I chose to share a grant proposal that I wrote, which was based on finding diverse books by diverse authors for diverse readers in my classroom. I really pride myself on having diverse selections and feel very passionately that my students need to see direct reflections of themselves in the books that they choose. I wrote this grant and received full funding. I passionately believe that I am not just proficient, but quite accomplished in ensuring that I address the needs of diverse learners within my classroom. Not only do I ensure that my class library reflects those that utilize it, but I also co-sponsor the Culture Club at our school, as well as chair the LGBTQ plus alliance of our students. The artifact of my grant proposal is something that has become commonplace for me after taking all of the courses within my LMS program. One major blessing to my teaching practice within this program have been the vast array of resources that Marshall has for locating and procuring additional grant funding ideas. During this course, in which I created this proposal, we actually had a thread where we shared local and nationwide funding options, and it has helped me to receive over $1,000 to date this academic school year in additional funding, and that has been a major blessing as well. This program has helped me to use that type of thinking, but look much broader at how to transition my teaching from a whole building position that will be needed to scale these types of planning and resourcefulness into a whole school mentality. It's certainly one thing to meticulously plan and curate lessons and books with accommodations for a grade level of 150 students, But planning for a building full of almost 1,000 students is a new ballgame entirely, but I feel prepared. Being mindful of all six program goals, one area easily stood out as an area for my teaching practice to improve, and that is goal number 5. I believe that this area has room for improvement because in my personal teaching practice, I simply haven't made researching on my own a priority. But social and behavioral research is very essential to good teaching practice. For me, this is because with all the responsibilities that we as educators, myself included, are asked to juggle, independently researching social and behavioral research is just not something that I have made a time priority in my days or planning time to explore. However, I will be prioritizing this area because as a department chair and as a library media specialist, I will be acting as a resource to the educators in my school and in my building. And being knowledgeable and mindful of research and current research practices will make me a vital and indispensable resource. And quite simply, that's the type of library media specialist that I want to be. I actually struggled to find excellent artifacts to truly exhibit my knowledge on this goal because I haven't had much interest in research until beginning my master's program. However, research and data-driven instruction is a large part of good reflective teaching practice and something that I'm striving to be much more proficient at doing along the way while planning instruction and looking to the future when adopting new curriculum and teaching methods. One of the artifacts that shows just how largely the program has shifted my thoughts on educational, social, and behavioral research is my research topic and hypothesis selections from my qualitative research work. The artifact is a direct answer to a major problem that I identified within my school district. And it's actually something that I plan to answer in the next academic school year, as I plan to conduct the research study that I wrote within my classroom and the classroom of a fellow educator in our department. Currently, our district is in limbo as to whether secondary teachers should adopt a reading workshop model like I teach, or to continue with the old, quote, tried and true method of whole class novel instruction and textbooks. I identified that professional problem and crafted a plan to ethically and efficiently conduct the research on student performance between the two types of teaching. This is something that prior to taking this course and shifting my way of thinking during my master's program, I would have been able to identify as an issue, certainly within my field. But I would have had absolutely no tangible idea on how to start formulating a systematic and ethical plan to tackle the problem. But now, while I'm reflecting on this portfolio and the work that I've done within the program, I now have the knowledge to not only embark on the process from start to finish, but I have a full understanding of how to identify, formulate the topic, formulate a hypothesis, identify my subjects, and test and assess everything I need to do step by step in a game plan that I've been able to get approved through my superintendent within my county. To have the confidence to not only gather the research I need to answer my question, but how to evaluate and use the findings and present the data to my peers while protecting the identities of my students is something I really feel proud of myself for. Moving forward professionally, I plan to continue working closely with my mentor that I have been placed with through the Library Media Center. I want to learn as much hands-on and tangible knowledge that she can provide. Things like how to physically repair a book that has been altered by a student's dog. That was something fun I got to learn this semester. To be able to figure out how to plan the most dynamic and excellent book fair, to figure out what it really truly takes to have a great book order, and on how important it is to make sure that that book order comes within a dime so the finance secretary doesn't hunt you down in your office. I really just want to learn as much tangible knowledge from her that I can, as it is her position that I will be looking to take over. I actually kept a blog this semester, Creating Book Lovers with Mrs. Leonard, where I documented my experiences with my library media specialist mentor. You should check it out. It had a lot of fun stuff in it. It was a really great time to be able to write and reflect on what I was doing in my days, especially the day that I got to follow the high school librarian. I don't know what I thought being a high school librarian looked like, but I definitely left with a big education on what it really, really meant. I was wrong. And I'm so thankful that I got to observe all of the different teachers that I was able to through this pedagogy semester. It's been a great learning experience. I also plan to donate my planning period several days a week to the Library Media Center to help accomplish this type of hands-on learning that I seek. In addition to this goal, I've joined a cohort that begins in August to begin working towards my national board certification in the fall. I've already enrolled in the cohort, and I look forward to elevating my teaching practice even further through this new endeavor. I'm so excited that I have all the tools that I need to be successful in both future learning endeavors because of the education that I have pursued and been given and been blessed to have been taught by the amazing professors at Marshall University. Thank you for your time.